So the first chapter of part 2 of the wildly popular Chainsaw Man series came out this week, and I'm a big fan of Chainsaw Man, so I've been waiting for this for quite a while, and this first chapter is just as chaotic and crazy as I'd hoped. The chapter starts off by building up the background for a new character and antagonist, Asa Mitaka. Her parents were killed by devils, and she has a very dark outlook on the world, and is just quite a depressing character, so immediately I like her. Her class ends up getting the chicken devil Bucky as a class pet, and the entire class befriends it. Bucky speaks with a lot of puns and jokes and very quickly started annoying me, but I think the entire chapter was set up for you to basically hate the class and Bucky. From viewing the whole situation from an outsider's perspective, you get a good idea of just how isolated and annoyed she feels with everything, and the entire class is just way too energetic and happy, so it almost brought in uneasy feeling forward in this bleak and dark seeming world, and the whole thing just felt really weird. But Mitaka ends up making a realization that she's just kind of jealous of everyone and decides to join them rather than sitting on the sidelines just being alone. But that's when it truly turns into a Chainsaw Man chapter. Mitaka trips and crushes Bucky, instantly killing him, and it's such a good progression of building up a character into moving herself forward, only to violently rip her back into the reality where she belonged in the first place. She then goes back into her depressive state and isolation, but that's when it gets even crazier, with the class president and teacher reaching out to her to go and visit Bucky's grave. But it's not really what it seems, with the class president revealing that she made a contract with the Justice Devil and ends up attacking and killing Mitaka. But just like how we are introduced to Denji, Mitaka makes a contract with an absurdly powerful devil, the War Devil, and ends up slaughtering her teacher and the class president, ending the chapter basically by announcing that they will be targeting Chainsaw Man and will be the primary antagonist moving forward in the series. The start of part 2 mirrors part 1 extremely well, and Mitaka and Denji had a very similar but also very different beginning, with both being more so loners in their own lives, but Denji had a much more optimistic outlook on his life, with his own goals and dreams and ambitions. But Mitaka seemed to only really have hatred for devils and just those around her in general. But they both ended up reaching the same fate of being essentially betrayed by people relatively close to them who made contracts with devils, only in turn to make their own contracts and gain insane amounts of power. While reading it, I couldn't help but feel a little nostalgic with all the similarities lining up, but it was just different enough to keep me interested entirely. That's one of the best parts of Chainsaw Man, in my opinion. You think you know what's going to happen, and then Power accidentally kills an imposter with a car. It's such a chaotic series that literally anything can happen at any moment, and it all makes perfect sense. It's crazy how it works so well. I was a little disappointed that we didn't really get to see how far Denji has come since part 1, and what his life has become since being put in charge of the new Control Devil, but I'm sure it won't be long before we get a glimpse of all of that and just see how wild and crazy his life has become since he's started high school and all that crazy stuff. I wonder if moving forward we're going to get like a split perspective of both sides as they become more aware of each other and begin clashing potentially, giving us both antagonist and protagonist perspectives of each character and really building up both sides to create more of an attachment to both. This new chapter has just entirely revitalized my love for Chainsaw Man, and I'm extremely excited to see where this new character will go, and who knows, maybe she's even a potential love interest for Denji, now that we don't really have a character in that role. And also, I can't wait to see if the beloved Power will ever make a return. But if this chapter is anything to go off of, I think part 2 is going to be pretty good. Thanks for watching.